In this exercise or demonstration, I will show you how we can build the same space just with the tools Blender has. And this will be very informative because you can see where these two programs, Blender and SketchUp, are the same, but also where Blender, when it comes to modeling performance or abilities, simply outperforms SketchUp. Blender is also more playing in the league like a program like Maya or 3D Max, Cinema 4D. So it's a professional polygon modeler, which is meant to have a strong tool set. SketchUp is meant to be learned to be fast and easy, which is true, but this comes with the penalty. Can't do much. Okay, anyway, don't want to flame SketchUp. It is good for what's intended, but very often if you want to leave the modeling of a box, you run into issues. In this exercise, we will also take a look into how can we set up our environment. So we'll see it's pretty much really the same workflow and process we use in SketchUp. Where things will be quite different is how interactive or dynamic modeling can be. Take a look at this. This is our paper thin wall, which we can give a thickness, which we can always change later based on how we desire. And then even, well, we can start cutting openings in there or turn this off. So as you can see, this is actually more dynamic. In SketchUp, pretty much everything is a done deal. Then the window parts we won't remodel, which we could, but we don't need to. We import this actually over from SketchUp, which will be very nice to see how they perfectly swap in. And then we will finish this by modeling the baseboard. Okay, with all that said, let's get started. Very good. Let's get started with a new scene. The first thing what we want to do, we will go to Scene Properties and switch our unit system to Imperial and turn on Separate Units. So when you have a wall that is 10 feet 3 inches, it will read like 10 feet and 3 inches. Very, very useful. Good. Then, since we're actually on this side, I would like you to right click on face orientation and then say add quick favorites. So we're setting up Blender a little bit. Also, for the moment, we need to make an object so we can go into edit mode and then here go to there again and right click and say add to quick favorite. What this quick favorite is doing is when we press Q, look at that. There we can take a look at it. Then the next thing, go to there again and right click on edge select. This one, perfect. What does this do when I click on 2 points, Q and say edge length? Let's go into wireframe mode. There, it gives me a readout, 2 feet. And when I press Q and turn this off, then the number is gone. Blender can actually display the edge between two, the angle between two lines, the length of a line. So this is actually very, very useful. Leave edit mode, we delete this object. Then let's go to edit and preferences. Then here we type in tiny. That's tiny cat, named tiny cat. Yes, welcome to a little bit of AutoCAD inside Blender. With this, we can extend lines and split lines. Then we turn this off. We will go to add mesh. By the way, for example, you see these are a lot of extra extensions, ArchiMesh, ArchiPack. These are architectural extensions. If you Google those in YouTube, quite informative. Add mesh extra object. This is the one we want. This add-on gives us the ability to create a new object with just a point in it. Quite useful sometimes. And then the last piece, we'll go to mesh, and here we will turn on edit mesh tools. This is an extension that gives us few more modeling tools, actually quite useful. And yeah, snap utilities. This one we can turn on too. Very good. Perfect. Since this is all set to autosave when we close this, very good. But we can also say save startup file. Yep. So for example, because this is Imperial in feet, and we want to work with this, say you're an interior designer only, I work in interior and product design, then this way, that's the default. Okay, very good. So our scene now is set up. In the first step now, we want to bring in our plan and elevation view. All the images which I'm going to use in this exercise are shared. The download link is inside the description of this video. So we will go to Add and Image, Reference. Then we will navigate to where we have everything positioned to. There we are. And here is my plan view. Very good. I have to zoom out a little bit. There we are. So I will repeat some of the same things I also said inside the video for SketchUp, how to model this part, just for those who are maybe not familiar with the first version, how I model the space in SketchUp, but only want to know how to model this in Blender. So please excuse me repeating this. This window, even while it's on top, is actually west facing. This window is north facing, and this is east, and Y is actually looking north. X is looking east. So we have to rotate this. We can press N for the rotate command, for the properties, and then here rotate, we're in top view along the 90 degrees. And there we are. Then this point down here, we would like to move to this corner. So I press go to here, bring this to there, line this up, and I can't really see the guideline is set up. So let's go to the image properties, opacity, and type in 25. 0.25. So 25%. Now we can move this one up. Pretty cool, no? Beautiful. Alternatively, if you want to, you see here, there's an object center point. We can also click and drag, set this to 0. So this object center point is centered. And then here I can, with this, simply slide this one forward and backwards as needed. This might actually make more sense. There. Cool. Okay. Again, keep in mind this image is not 100% precise. So as we can see here, this old document is distorted. Very good. But we can take it and read the values out. Now, how do I scale this whole piece? I have, fortunately, here 28 feet for the width and 16 for the height. So what's the easiest way to do this? I will do this. I can press Shift A or go add plane or add mesh plane. And then this plane I want to be along the x-axis, 28 feet. And what do we say? 16 for y. There. Now, this corner I would like to be right there. Here's a very easy way how to do this. I turn on the cursor, select snap to vertex, move this cursor, hold control and snap it to this point. See this? Okay. Then right click and say origin to 3D cursor. There. You see now where is the origin, and all we need to do is set this to 0. Because Blender is object-based, it works a lot really with the object center. It's very useful when we have to animate something. Now we can go back to select the image, zoom in. We're still in wireframe mode. And now we have to simply scale this image with S till it, lines up like there. Now, because we moved the image origin to this point and then use this offset, we can very easily simply press S and everything scales right to this center point. And I also have this center point perfectly positioned at XYZ 0, so that the interior Y and X line, well, is part of the interior space. Very good. To make sure that this image is not in my view, I can move this down a little bit, maybe -5 feet. Cool. Okay, so that's my plan view. Now I would like to do my elevation view. Shift S, cursor to world origin. So my object will be inserted there. Add, I will do the same. And reference. And then we will load actually the elevation view. Quickly select it. We can do the same, 25, 0.25. It has been a long day. I was actually at a trampoline place with my daughter, and I think we both want to take a nap. She can, I cannot. I have work to do. Okay, very good. So you see, I did exactly the same. For better illustration or understanding, you see here, this is kind of like the grading line, but our interior room will be right along here. So to make modeling a little bit easier, I simply line this up with the Z point at 0. Technically speaking, I would need to know where is the true height point or the offset from sea level, and then move this one accordingly up. We don't really know this. For us, it doesn't really matter. We just want to model this interior space. Okay, good. So I just want to point this out that if you want to be super precise like a surveyor, this is incorrect. But for what we do, model an interior space for visualization purpose, this is sufficient. Okay, also here you can see X is the ground, Z is the left wall. Yeah, now how do we figure out how this lines up? We can actually do the following. Somewhere is our object. There it is. Good. This object center is right there. So I can rotate this one 90. Very good. And there I see this rectangle. And then now I go into this view and scale till this lines up. There. If everything is correct, we can visualize this by moving this over and down. And there. And I'm paying attention to this vertical line. It lines up with this dashed line. That's actually the midline. Or here, this dashed line inside my plan view. That's actually indicating where kind of like the slope is for the ceiling. Okay, now I do my undo, and then this again, I move just to here, similar to here. I would like this to be out of my way. Maybe 25 feet. Okay, and you go back to 0. Beautiful. So now we have actually pretty much everything set up for the plan view and elevation view. And we can get ready and start putting our geometry down. Okay, beautiful. So I created this rectangle as an object, and then I scaled it using the dimensions here. And you see then this gives actually this a scale factor. What does scale factor mean? When I set this back to 1, you see, well, this is the original size. So we want to apply the scale factor, because when I go into edit mode and select these two lines and say Q, display me the length, whoops, and this is still 2 feet here too. Well, this can't be. Okay, so when we go into object mode and apply the scale, so you know this is 1 and the dimension remains the same, and I press tab to go into edit mode. There, 28 and 16. Okay. So it's actually a very common process. You start with an object. If it's rectangular, super easy, then we just scale it into the position or proportion we need. The same even with elements for a window, we just then go right into a cube because we have X, Y, and Z. And then once the cube is scaled, we apply the scale factor. Perfect. Okay. So we can go into top view, and this is all done. Now we actually have to create this part, and I will show you how we can build this. So this is 6 feet and 8 feet and 1 foot. So all the dimensions we have right here. This is actually, I'm inside the architectural dimension screenshot. 6, 8, and 1 foot. So how do we do this? That's actually quite easy. There's a saying, there are many roads that lead to Rome. So I will try in this video also show a variation of options. None of them is necessarily always the best. They're all good, but people have different preferences. That's why I show options. Let's go to edit mode. This and these two lines we would like to subdivide. In SketchUp, that's called the divide command. I would like to divide this 2 times. Right click, subdivide, go to here, and there too. Beautiful. Okay, you see actually now I have 2 more points. I'm also in point select. And I can go to here, move this over, and then I pay attention to the value here on this edge. You see when I move this till this reads 6 inches. If I hold shift, I can move this even more gently, but it's a little bit crude. If we very quickly want to visually block something out, now we can do it this way, but if we want to be precise, then maybe not. So what would be actually a good way? I can press the G key, G for move, twice. One time, then you see I'm moving, and when I press G a second time, no, I'm sliding. Sliding means this point I slide along its edge. There we are. So now I put it into the corner. I know this is 6 feet. So I can bring this over, type in -6 and enter. Take a look at the upper left corner. There you see D -6, enter. Cool. Okay. Here we'll do the same. GG, bring this over, and then G and X. So this time I use the command to move this over. I could type in -8, or I can also move this -8 and enter. 8, simply because I work in feet, that's the biggest unit. So I don't have to put in the unit symbol, the dash, or however you call that line, the single scratch, just 8. Now this goes up by 1 foot. We can go to Extrude. Then we switch this to X, Y, and Z. And you see now here we have these directions. It's very useful. We can drag this one out, that extrudes it. Type in 1, press enter. Beautiful. Go back to here, select edge. We will select this edge. Maybe I turn off these background images, X, and delete edge. There, now we have actually our plan view outline for the interior space. Very good. These images, maybe we should give some names. So leave edit mode, go to object mode. This is plan view, and this one is elevation view. Thank you. We can read here that this is 10 feet tall. Okay, so that's easy. So we can call this actually wall interior. Give this a good logical naming, like wall, interior, wall, exterior, window, inside, window, west, window, north. The outliner will sort it alphabetically. Very much the same like in the outliner in SketchUp. Okay, so we're going to edit mode. Then we can go to point select. Press A to select everything. Go to extrude. Go to this. Bring this up. Type in 10 and enter. You see, I moved this one up 10 feet. Beautiful. Okay. Now we would like to add some thickness. Okay, modifier. This is actually a command we can do interactively. Solidify 5 feet, inches, enter. And then here there is like an inside or outside. We go to the outside in even thickness. Beautiful. Very good. You remember we set up kind of like this face orientation. Press Q and say face orientation. And you see here everything works beautifully. So let's assume one of you, this can be a common cause, has actually this problem. So we will see, this is self-intersecting. Let's turn this off. Press Q and face orientation. Yeah, and you see this one face is actually flipped. You see? So the red is the blue in SketchUp, and the blue here is the gray in SketchUp. So red is inside in Blender, and in SketchUp blue is inside. We would like to flip this face. So we can select the face there, go to mesh, normal, flip, or calculate outside. We could also type the spacebar, since we set it up this way, and type in flip. If you press the spacebar, and now you see here a number running, and then we did not, or you did not set this up correctly. Where was this? Key map. Oh yeah, there it is. Key map, and when you press the spacebar, it should go to the search. So it's kind of like the search command, like in AutoCAD or Rhino. Flip. There we are. Sweet. Cool. Q and turn this off. Q and turn this off. You see how useful that favorite menu really is there. Okay. This is actually pretty cool. Nice. Now we would like to cut actually a door. So let's drag this one out to here, and then this collection we call plants. Very good. Then right click, new collection, and we call this architecture Boolean. Boolean because a Boolean operation, we add, we subtract, we find the common volume, etc. We will put objects in there. So we will do the following. We will start with a plane. Shift S, cursor at the wall origin. Shift A plane. Or no, you can use the main menu here. But I find the shortcuts are so faster. Then now we set this to, as we can see, 2 feet 6 inches. So X 2 feet 6 inches. And Y we do 1 foot. Okay. Scale factor. Control A to apply scale, or object apply scale. Now this is actually a flat surface that doesn't do us any good. Go to modifier and solidify and give this a thickness of 80 inches. Well, wrong direction, and dimension there. Very good. No, we can Z and wireframe. We can bring this one over, and let's say we trust the plan view. We could position this correctly, plus minus. Okay, so you see here is actually a dimensional link. So 6 feet 11 inches, which means in this design, this door is at the midpoint of this line here. Okay. So from here to here, that's 6 feet 11 inches. And that's actually divided by 2. That's the midpoint. So that's 3 feet and 5.5 inches. We'll do the following. Oh, by the way, you see this? There we are. What did I magically do? You know, we created this object, and when we create an object, it has an object center point, which we can set to 0 there. So we move this over by 1 foot. And you see, hey, this is like 1 foot and something. Since everything starts from here, you see my drawing I set up to there. I can use this as a reference. So 3 feet and 5.5 inches. There we are. Alternatively, I can also bring this over. So this is snapped to there. Very good. And then GX, I bring this over. Actually, that did not necessarily work because hold on. This would actually have been then 6, so it would be 3 feet and 5.5 inches minus half of this. So 1.6, so 1.3. Yeah, will make sense, no? Because anyway, basic math failure. So this was a little bit confusing, but what I wanted to say is this is a midpoint here. This is maybe more for the Blender people. This is a midpoint, 3 feet and 5.5 inches. So 3 feet, 5.5 inches. Easy, no? But if I have this object now, which has already a little bit of volume, I need to move this one over so it sits here. Which means I need to find this position because this edge needs to be moved to there. So when I have 3 feet and 5.5 inches, I need to subtract from that 1 foot. So that means then that's 2 feet and 3 inches. So 2 feet and 2.4. Okay, so GX, 2 feet and 2.5 inches. GX equal 2.25 inches. Yeah, there. Okay. Oof, okay. Or we can just block this out. Okay, very good. So that was a little bit unexpectedly longer. Yeah, I mean, this is actually already where you can see in SketchUp with the ruler command is really easy to create temporarily guides. Now, if I block something out, okay, by 1 foot this should go down, and then this should go over 3.3 feet, and then there we can position something. This is a tool that's actually glorious in SketchUp. It's also very unique to SketchUp. Anyway, but you see, we can get kind of like the same precision too if we think differently. Very good. So this piece we will call kitchen door. Okay, let's hide this. Select this, go to Boolean modifier, and then we say, hey, you remove this kitchen door. Wow, beautiful. It cuts it out. Nice, no? Yeah, I think so too. In case you shall see a thin strip down here, here's a little trick. Because the door and the wall have the same position at the bottom, one easy trick is to help the software remove this down by 1 inch. Because I moved this one 1 inch down, also this now has to be 81 inches. Okay. The main reason for this is it's very clearly two volumes that do not share anywhere a face on the same plane. It's not unique to Blender, this problem. It's just common for all programs. Very good. So as you can see, nicely, I can cut this open. I can also call this door opening or just simply door. Because of this icon here, I know this is actually a Boolean modifier. When we realize we measured incorrectly, we can just move this cube and you see this cut is updated. Super useful when you need to explore things. Or your client says, well, I like doors. I want more doors. I want 4 doors. Please. I want like so many doors. There. You see? Person wants more doors, person gets more doors. Okay, so I simply gave this door geometry an array modifier that replicated it or multiplied it. Okay, obviously this was a silly idea, but just to show you one of the benefits. Okay, let's do this opening. So we have this image here. It is a 9 by 6 piece and then 11.5 inch off the ground. So Shift S, cursor to world origin, Shift A, plane. Then this is Y, okay. 9 feet. Y, I leave at 2 feet, that is okay. And then we give this a thickness. And we say 6 feet, correct, no? Yeah, very good. And then, and this whole piece should be off the ground by 11.25 inches. No, 11.5 inches. Very good. Beautiful. Now, how do I position this perfectly to the center? Well, I can snap this one to there. Very good. And now this is positioned. And I know that this is 3 feet 6 inches. Okay, so I can click this, move this over a little bit, and you see here I get a readout. Then I type in 3 feet 6 inches. Ta-da! Good. Let's undo this. I want to show you a second way. I press G for move, and then Y for the Y-axis. And when I type in 3 feet 6 inches, you will see, well, we typed in 36 feet. So this is actually unique to Blender, not necessarily very well solved, but it works once you know how this works. When you type in a number, it uses the unit system it is set on, which is feet. When I want to use other dimensions, then I have to create or use an expression to do this. It's kind of like in Excel when we write a function. So G and Y. Then we press the equal key. And you see now up here, there, this changed. Now I can type in 3 feet 6 inches there. Perfect. So that was the second way. Third way, we can do the same here. I move this. Now I type in equal 3 feet 6 inches. Release no, the mouse key. Ta-da! Cool. Okay. We will call this window west. And drag this one to there. Very good. And now I could add a Boolean command and window west. Now, here's actually a little tip. And that's also why I put this into this Boolean thing here. Do I really want to add for each thing another Boolean? No, maybe not actually. So let's delete this. Let's delete this. And then instead of object, we say use a collection. Here's my collection, architecture Boolean. And whatever geometry I put in there, it will automatically cut it out. So it's a one-time command only. So if I go to here and move this, sweet, no? So useful. Okay. Maybe at this point you start noticing what I meant. A lot of things in SketchUp are really well made for a particular workflow. And as long as what you do fits into that workflow, SketchUp is glorious. But if you want to do something that is just different as a cube, or you want to be able to more freely be able to explore variations, it is just not that good. And most what we do here is very similar to SketchUp. So it's not like English and Russian, which is even different alphabet. This is more like Northern American and Southern American, just different accents. Okay, very good. So how can we do actually now this window opening? Here I will show how we know maybe, actually no, we will do this door. I will show how we can actually model this door with the same method, and then, then we will go to how we model this part. Okay, so here we have, let's go to the spreadsheet stuff here. Where do we have it? There. We have a dimension there. So this is 10 feet and 3 inches and 6 feet and 6 inches from this wall away. Okay, good. So how can we do this? Well, I could create another cube and then do that the same method, but I would like to show you now how we do this now differently. So we will select this edge, right click and say subdivide, and we do this 2 times. Click, there we are. Now Q, show me the length. And when I move this one, there we can see the readout, no? And this should be 6 feet 6 inches. Very good. So GG, go to there. GX equal 6 feet 6 inches. Oh, was the wrong direction. G and X, oh, that's negative. Okay, equal minus 6 feet 6 inches. Okay, good. And then this should be 10 feet 3 inches. So GG, I snap this to the beginning. GX minus equal 10 feet 3 inches. Cool. Then the whole piece should be 80 inches high. Check this out now. So I select these 2 points, go to extrude, extrude this up, and then I say here 80 inches. Now this geometry looks really messed up, and that's quite logical because we kind of like created a bad geometry. So not a big deal, we fix it. This lower passage we want to clean. So edge select, select the edge, X, delete edge. Oh, all our stuff is gone. That's fine. With shift and left mouse button click, I select all these faces, press F and fill it back in. Oh, look at that. Now I have actually an opening which I can, I can move around. Nice, no? Cool. So this is actually now how we can hand model an opening right into it, starting actually from the ground straight up. Very, very useful. Let's now do the same here. There we have it. Again, it's 11.5 from the bottom. In SketchUp, we would draw actually 4 guidelines. So we have the intersecting elements, can draw a rectangle and push and pull it through it. We will do something in a similar way. What you don't realize it are all the edges SketchUp actually will create on these faces to connect this rectangle onto the surface. That sounds now very, very abstract. I will show you actually what's happening in SketchUp in Blender. Again, both programs are polygon modelers. That's pretty much the same. Okay, so one last peek. 7 feet 3.5. Okay. We will turn this maybe off for the moment. And then we will go into edit mode. Okay, so yeah, how could we do this? I will do it this way. I will go to loop cut. Very good. Then I go on to see this edge here, click, and then here I say 2. Okay, it's actually, it did 2 cuts now. So, wait, oh, here, whoop, there. Very good. Let me undo this. Okay, loop cuts, 2 cuts, click, and there we are. So it created 2 cuts. Then here's actually a knife command. Calling it from here is on only selected. It's not really working the way how I really would like to work. So instead of calling this command from here, I press K, which is K like knife. The reason why, you see how this snaps actually on this point. So I can click. And when I press X for the X-axis, I can cut kind of like with a knife. So knife, and then as enter. Good. Sounds maybe a little bit odd, but think about this as geometry, and we cut an edge into it. Knife is actually the common command. When in SketchUp we draw a face, or on a face a line, it is actually this knife command. So here again, click, press the X key, click, and enter. So there's actually our rectangle. And you see here, these lines are being used to secure this to there. These lines you don't see in SketchUp, but they are actually there. So how do we adjust this distance here? Here again, GG, I can move this one down. Okay, and then G and Z equal 11.5 inches. Correct, no? 11.5 inches. Yes, thank you. And then what do we have here? 1 foot, so 14.5 inches. So there, I select this, GG, slide this up, GZ equal minus 14.5 inches. Thank you. There, 1 foot and 2.5 inches. Okay, so how do we do now the left and right? I do not have lines to measure, but what I can do, you see here, I have actually this line here. So it's 2 feet and 8 inches. That's not correct. Should be 7 feet and 3.5 inches. Go to Edit, Mesh Tools, Edge, Set Length. 7 feet, 3.5 inches. Okay, beautiful. There. So now what we can do, we can select these points, point select, all good. Bring this over, hold Control key, and we snap it all. We just clean this up. What we're doing right now is called cleaning up the topology, by the way. This is something you do much more manually in all polygon modelers and not SketchUp. SketchUp tries to do this internally, sometimes successfully, sometimes not so successfully. Very good. Now we have this face, which we can select with the face select, press X and say delete face. Let me turn this on. There we are. Beautiful, no? Okay, cool. Now we just have to cut the last window here. So in the last step, I showed you how we can use loop cuts to slice or grid a wall. Now I will show you how here actually we will delete this wall. And then we patch in everything from the beginning. So we select these 2 edges, Shift S and cursor to selected. You see the cursor right there. Shift A and make a plane. Very good. And then we can press RY and 90. Okay. Maybe turn off here all this so we don't really see what's going on. Beautiful. Okay. So let's go to our screenshot here where the dimension. So this is 7 feet 10 inches and 2.2 feet 5 inches. with this dimension tool, I can click this and then say maybe these two. Set dimension 2 feet 5 inches. Suck. Yep. And then 7 feet 10 inches. U and 7 feet 10 inches. Thank you. Very good. So with these two edges selected, the other two edges follow. Now we can just go to here, go to there. So you see I'm moving and hold the control keys and I'm snapping to the corner points again. So let's say it's really off. So along axis and snap, along Y and snap, along X and snap. There we are. And Z and snap. So this whole thing goes up along the Z axis by 11.5 inches. And then we have 1 foot and 3 3/16 of an inch. That thing again. Okay, so you 1 foot and 6 inches. Very good, thank you. And I will move this one more time, and then here I type in 3/16 of an inch. Okay, very good. Beautiful. Let's measure the distance. There's actually a measurement tool here, so I drag and hold control from there, go to there, yeah, 1 foot, 6 inches, and 3/16 of an inch. Beautiful. This is actually where you have the measurement command. It's really useful. You can draw the distance, hold control, and it snaps to an edge. Go to another edge, hold control, and then when actually it becomes perpendicular, you see it switches perpendicular. Super useful. 2.5. 2 feet 5 inches, and when you go into any other tool it's gone, but they're still there. And we can even measure an angle. There. To delete it, click on the name here, or like one of these elements there, and delete. Very good. Okay, so I will select the whole piece and then say Shift D and escape. Bring this over to there, hold control. And you see I move it along the y-axis. So again, I select all the edges, Shift D, and then Y along y-axis, hold control and snap, click. And now this has to go back by 1 foot 6 inches, 1 foot 6 inches, and 3/16 of an inch. Does this actually work? Let's say plus. But please, other direction. Okay, yeah. You see, even this way we can actually write an expression. Cool. So we have like thicknesses we need to accommodate. So easy. Now, this actually would have been so logical to use here because we could have made this piece move over by this divided by 2 minus this divided by 2. Okay. That's actually why this expression system works really well. Okay, so we have actually kind of like these openings. So we select these two edges, press F to fill. Then we can select these two faces, press F, and select these two faces and press F. Very good. And then as I select this, and this, and press F. You see how it is actually patching in the missing faces. This is just one way how you could do this. Okay. Click face select, U and U, X and delete face, Q, face orientation, everything is beautiful. Q off. Yeah. There we are. You see actually in edit mode, the Boolean command is actually gone. I'm pressing tab all the time, but very good. Cool. Now we quickly can build the foundation and then we do the roof. Before we do this, I thought actually it might be good to go one time back to what's the best thing to use, the Booleans or hard modeling it? And really, it's a matter of preference and what you want to do. When we explore something, the Boolean approach, as you can see, is so much easier because I move stuff around. If the architecture is done and all I need to do is quickly, precisely rebuild it, then maybe the Boolean approach is not necessarily needed. Maybe you can just hard model it in. But you also saw hard modeling, I needed to put in all these support edges in. That's the nice thing in SketchUp, you draw kind of like an opening on a face and you just punch it through, as long as opposite side is parallel to. In my SketchUp model, I had also here a little bit of an issue. Something was off. So also here, I can move this up and down and then go with my mouse to a different edge, which is good. Hold Control and snap to that point. So it snaps actually to the height. You see this way, I make sure they all are nice and even. Now, this is something I cannot do with the Boolean commands. So just up to you to decide. Okay, with that said, let's quickly make the foundation. That one is super easy. Let's hide the architectural plans collection. Shift S cursor to world origin, Shift A plane. Then I go into edit mode. Here, I turn this one now on and an edge, yeah, because all I need to do now is, you see, I simply move and go to an edge. I don't hold Control because snapping is on actually on default. So super easy. Right click, subdivide 2 times. Where's this point? There's that point. Zack, U2 and E and Y. Zack. This edge here, I can select these 2 points, X, and say dissolve edge. No. Oh yeah. Interestingly, that doesn't work, but if I delete this edge, this is open, or if I press A and press F, it fills this back in. And go to there. This is actually called an n-gon. Normally you want to work with triangles or rectangles. I primarily try to work with rectangles, but this is actually not a rectangle anymore. It's an n-gon. Sometimes when, kind of like you saw when we dissolved this edge, the software didn't really know how to do it. Delete this edge and then we patch it in by hand. This sits on a subfloor, plus under the subfloor then are the joists. So let's say 10 inches to give this some meat, and then we go down this direction. Very good. Q and face orientation. Yeah, okay, you can see this has to go positive up because the face is flipped. So A, Shift N, okay, or spacebar, flip. There we are. So red goes to the bottom. Tab. Turn this on. You see now the wall goes up, but actually it should go negative to the bottom. Okay, I just only flipped the orientations. Beautiful. Don't forget to save in between. And now we are ready to do the the ceiling inside. And it's actually also really interesting to show you how we basically solve the same problem in Blender with the same steps. And it's actually a little bit easier to do in Blender, I would say, because you can much easier select a point or see a point. The edges you can see easily in SketchUp. Okay, so the roof. Okay, so you remember we went to preferences, add mesh, and we added actually this extra object. What extra object does when we go to mesh, here we have lots of extra things. Really useful is the single vertex. In Blender, the default object is a plane, cube, circle, sphere, cylinder. These are the basic building blocks, but sometimes all we want to do is just start drawing a line from somewhere. And then actually this point command is kind of like the same because this creates our first click. Okay, so the way how this one works is, this is really important now. We click this and then we are in edit mode and we have one point already created. I will go to object mode. This is turned on and I move this one freely around and hold control and snap it to that corner. Very good. Okay. Now, taking a look at this view, you see 12 and 4. Okay, so in edit mode, we press A to have this point selected. Now we're also in point select. E, X, and 1. I will switch to wireframe by pressing a Z. And I will turn these off for the moment. There. And maybe the wall I will turn off too, so you see where I am. So here's one line. And now this goes 4 inches up. G and Z, and then equal 4 inches. There we are. Cool, no? Okay. Now, this point, or this whole thing I could select, Shift D, move to somewhere else. No, I will rotate it. RZ and 180. So I rotate it along the Z-axis 180 degrees. G and bring it back. Okay. So it's actually done. I could also have selected this point, Shift D, hold Control there, EX minus 1. So minus because it has to go the opposite direction, not positive X. GZ equal 4 inches. Sweet. Now we select these 2 points, and you remember we also added actually this tiny cat, this add-on. So both edges selected, right click, and look at this tiny cat. So we can actually extend these 2 lines till they meet and find a vertex where these 2 points or these 2 lines would meet. This is what I like. This actually adds, if I click it, it adds 2 extra lines, but not here. It doesn't join it. That's not what I want. I want to have rather an this line be extended. So these 2 lines selected, right click, go to here. You don't see anything because let's go to point select. There is the point. Here, turn this one on and off when needed. This is actually super useful. So what this does is when I press G and hold Control, it snaps to there and then it fuses these points together. Select this point, G, hold Control, snap there. It's kind of like in SketchUp when it combines things. I selected these 2 points, pressed F, press A, press F. There's our face. Press E, hold Control, snap it to there. Beautiful. Then I can select this edge, right click, and say Subdivide 2 times. Here, this point, move, hold Control, move, hold Control, both points, E, Y, hold Control, and I will turn off this and this. Because you see the inside is solid, bad, selected. We have face select. And then we will X it out. There. Easy, no? Yeah. Pretty cool. So we very quickly built the inside. Now the outside, how we do this? This is actually easy to do if you work with metric. Unfortunately, the add-on for the offset command works only with metric. It's under Edge Tools and Offset. So I will show you here a different approach. If you're in, how could I say that? If you're in Europe and you work with metric, we can simply select this face. So these lines, or basically these faces, I have to offset 5 inches. I want to create a new triangle right here. So this offset, and then here, this does not show you any value, but this means actually 13 centimeters. So 0.13 meters. That's the default value it actually uses. Okay, so X and delete. So how do we solve this? Tricky question. No, not really. It's actually pretty simple. Here, we select these two faces, spacebar, and we type in solidify. Solidify is, well, we give a thickness to this part. Solidify two faces. Yep. But 5 inches. There, positive. Okay, sweet. Yeah. What we have to do now, however, is we have to select these faces which connected it, X, and say delete faces. So the nice thing is first we actually have already the top part of a roof. So it's actually not too bad. Cool. Okay, how do we now build the rest? Here, this, I will select these two edges and move this to there. Beautiful. Okay, good. So now this is actually lined up. And yeah, you see here, this is not long enough. I need to extend this till it meets there. And how do I do this? This is again where the tiny cat comes in super easy. Okay, so I will go to point select. Select this point. Actually, I can also, I select this point, Shift D, hold Control and put it to there, and then E and X and move this one up. Very good. Yeah, select this edge. You see, sorry, crazy rotation, they are on the same plane. And all I want to do now is, for the software, continue drawing this line till it meets here this white line. So right click, tiny cat, and there we are. Ta-da! X and delete, and U, delete. And then this point and this point, this is important, both. This whole edge, I G, move, hold Control, and snap to this point. Then this one here, I can press E and Y, hold Control till it meets this part there. Select this point, these 2 points, press F and fill this in. Maybe here, these points I can move over, hold Control, and line this up to there. So you see, it is actually maybe complex looking, but this is basic architectural geometry. It's actually basic geometry. So here again, Shift D, hold Control, E and Z, move this up. Then we go to edge select because these are lines. Right click, tiny cat, this one. Thank you for your service. There. Actually, no, I can also delete this and then go to here. Do it even this way. There are so many ways how to do it. Extrude it down along Z, hold Control, zack. U, and F. We fill it there. Okay, so how do we do this? Everything was so easy, but this now looks complicated. No. Again, easy. Let's start with this edge. So here, this line, I will press E to extrude this point out into a line, hold Control and snap it. E, hold Control and snap it. So I'm first actually retracing this profile outline and then select these 2 points with Shift F and fill in the missing line. There you see now what we have. Okay. So this line here, I would like to E and Z up, but it should meet right there. Tricky business. No, Actually pretty easy. Right click TinyCAD, look at this. It has actually extend edge to a face. So I select this edge, then I select all the edges of this face. You see this defines a face, and then so this one, I right click and say extend. There. And you see this? So let me do this one more time. So I can select this face if it's easier. Then I go to edge select, shift click this edge, right click and extend. Super. Cool. Now I have actually two elements here. I can select this point X and say dissolve. Dissolve just takes it out. It does not delete it. If I say delete, you see then these two, I have 2 points, but I don't have that line left. Cool. Now I want to bring in this face, E, Y, hold control, select the 2, 4 points, F, and wow, there's my face. Look at that. See? Easy, easy, easy. How do we do this now here? A little quick look at the top. This point is not lined up to here. Shoot. Okay, this means here I need to have another point. These 2 points I select, right click, subdivide. This point I move over, hold control, snap. Okay. E and Z, hold control, snap, bring this over, F. Yeah, okay. Well, that works. Click, 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 F. Oh, and it's getting filled. Beautiful. Little tip of warning. There might be some extra funny edges going on here, I believe. Yeah, you see here, there's an extra edge. So how do we ideally find this? This edge we can select and press delete. We might then also find this edge, press X and delete. Then this whole piece is open. Not a big deal. We simply select then all the needed empty edges here till this is a nice complete loop. And F and fill. Very good. Now, I need to figure out where, when I extrude this one up, where is this height point so it lines up with here. Again, I can calculate this by selecting this face, select this line, right click and say flop there. Dissolve and E and Y, hold control there. See? It fits perfectly. So beautiful. So now here from the beginning, we will remove actually this edge. So we're not making this mistake. You and you fill, you and you fill, you and you fill, you and you plus you fill, and then alt click this line with alt, it actually fills this piece, F. And there we are. Now we can dissolve this edge, clean this up a little bit, clean this up, dissolve. The inside is not filled. Okay, that's going to be easy. We just click pairing edges and then we press F to fill. We do have actually here this interior line stuff. So this is a matter of preference. We probably could live even without this stuff. Yeah, because this is kind of solid anyway. Okay, very good. Last check, face orientation. Oh, A. And then we go mesh, normals, calculate outside. Everything is clean. Hue, turn this off, turn this off. This is ceiling. And there's our model. Beautiful. So you see, same techniques, kind of like in terms of principle. In SketchUp, we use more the guide tool to make guidelines. Here we measure it or we do directional snappings, and then we use the CAD tool like in AutoCAD. Okay, that's how to model the space. Now we would like to bring over the elements for the window. We're not going to remodel this since we have this already inside SketchUp. Let's go to SketchUp. So for those who do not have this model or didn't do this exercise, so talking about the non-interior design students, there will be an OBJ download file inside the description too for this video. So I will turn off everything that I don't need besides this. Then I select everything. Zip. Then I will go File, Export 3D Model. OBJ, yep. Very good. Call this Windows. Very good, thank you. Then I go back into Blender. You also notice everything is kind of gray and gray. It's kind of difficult to see. By the way, if we go to here, this menu, and type in color random, so much easier. We don't have control over what color we see, but everything will be randomized. It's much easier for us to read. Now we go to File, Import, Wavefront, navigate to where's the piece, don't double click, and Y up, Y forward, Z up, and this is now the important part, split by group. And when you do not do this, the geometry will be imported as one piece. This way, all the groups I have in SketchUp will be imported into Blender as objects or bodies. This is what I want. Zack. There I have all my pieces. Now I will turn off quickly all this and H to hide, so it's very easy to see all my pieces. I click and drag over this, and then M, and say East. Or maybe I call this window. Actually, that's not East, window West. Very good. Click and drag. M to make a new collection, window North. You see also here how this will be very quickly sorted. M, whoops, what did I do? Undo. M, yes, window East. And there are my collections. I can even make a new collections and call this Windows. And drag this one in. Now I have actually one collection that hosts all these objects. And now comes drum. Does it fit? Let's see. Look at that. Yeah, it fits pretty flawless. Yeah. So another what's actually the proof of concept or the nice benefit of this exercise right now is you see how something that was done accurately in one program can be transferred over to another program. And I'm not necessarily talking only about Blender and SketchUp. It's literally all programs. Just something to keep in mind, because I find in today's time it's really important not to say I'm an interior designer and I know SketchUp or I know Revit. Well, what happens if you don't have access to that program? What happens when you go to a client who uses a different program? You need to be able to transfer knowledge. And this is basically why we do this exercise. To bring everything to an end, let's quickly do our baseboard. That's going to be quite fun. So we will Shift A, and we will go vertex, and then we are already in edit point. Oh, and move point. It is right at this point, but I will go into object mode, go to G. Whoops, I pressed over accident. G, move this to here because I didn't say Shift S cursor to world selection. So I will just do this manually to show people how this piece here, I really G and then Control snap to there. Then we can go into edit mode, E and Y, click. Or I don't even have to hold axis keys, I could just E and hold the control key E, click E, click E. Now hold control, click E, hold control E, click. Yeah, and then here I shift D, hold control, click E, hold control, click here, E, hold control, click. There we are. So this baseboard, how tall is it actually? I think this was 4 inches. Yeah, and ½ inch thickness. A to select everything, then E and Z for extrude along the Z axis by equal 4 inches. Or you press E and Z, click, and then we correct this. Beautiful. Okay. Now, this is a nice flat strip. It needs to get some meat on the bone. So we go and add a modifier and we say 0.5 inches. Even thickness to there. And how does this look? Yep, it's everywhere. Perfectly added. So now you see now actually again this is a little demonstration about how powerful these modifiers are. You see how I am adjusting the thickness. Okay, pretty cool, no? We could also start rounding this part or whatever, but this is exactly the same type of baseboard I modeled in the SketchUp video, so we'll keep it this way. The only thing what I would like to do after we gave this a logical name, so baseboard, is to show you how we would model actually this piece. Okay, so I just hide this by pressing H. Then Shift S, cursor to the world's selection, Shift A, make myself a plane. And this plane N, I will scale already to 2.5 inches by 0.5 inches. G, move this to here, Control A for scale. So apply the scale. Okay, and then I would like to position this somewhere here. By the way, we can snap to the center of edges. G, hold the snap command, zack. There, I snap to there. I can't really zoom in anymore, so view, frame selected. And here we'll switch this back, move this back to here, hold control. Maybe snap to edge. There. Okay, so this is 2.5, that's correct, 0.5, but no, here this should be 0.5 and 2.5 and 0.5. So how do we quickly do this? Easy. Edit mode. This one here I will simply delete. There. E and Y. 0.5 inches, I mean. Oh, what's going on? Hold on, let me... E and Y. 0.5 inches. There, thank you. Not sure what I did wrong. Here, E and X. This is now also positive, 0.25 inches. And then E and Y equal 0.5 inches. E and Y equal 0.5 inches. Oh, opposite direction, please. Thank you. And then these two, IF and fill. Cool. Now, this whole thing I will select. And then I will move this one, maybe, yeah, I don't know yet. So how do we actually model this? So this is actually something I find kind of curious about Blender. It has really a lot of modeling tools, but it does not have a sweep command. This is actually what the follow me command is. To model this casing, we need to rotate or shift this by 45 degrees. there's actually a shear command. So I shear this along this axis by -1. So that's actually equal 45 degrees. And then I go to move command, press G, hold control. Let's see, G, hold control there. Sometimes you have to move the point you want to snap to somewhere closer to your snap target. Then actually it works better. So point select, there we are. Cool. Okay, so now what I can do is E and Y, zip, bring this over. I need to shear this. This time, so this is 1, so -2. Very good. Bring this over. G and Y, hold control there. Now I will go to edge select, shift, or I press B, and you see with B I can select left and right these profiles. And this is something I really love about Blender more. I really hate about SketchUp. In SketchUp, when I select all these edges, only the edges are selected because I'm in edge select. No, I select only the faces. And no, I would only select points. There are no points. Okay, so U and U, E and Z, zack. And then no, we have to flip them. So AA to deselect, B go to here, go to shear. So what value is that? So 2, AA here, then the same, possibly positive, no, -2. So be careful about the value. B, we select these two again, and we move them together. And G and Z. Wow, there, G and Z. G and Z, G and Z up, and hold control, snap. Okay, and now how do we fix this? We bridge this. Positive people like to build bridges. I like to build polygon bridges. Click, there we are. Q, face orientation. Looks all pretty good, but control is better. Press A, mesh, normals, calculate outside, Q, turn this off. Yeah, there we are. So you see actually building something like this is very possible in Blender 2 when you want to run a profile along kind of like a path. In SketchUp, we have to draw the path, by the way, too. So it's not that it's that much easier. And the follow me to revolve into a cylinder or sphere is really cranky in SketchUp. Here we have to shear the orientation all the time, but it actually works. Very good. Okay, this piece was just only for demonstration purpose, and we can delete it. Alt-H, show everything, and we are D-like done. Congratulations. Well, not so close. I just realized by the end of this day, I forgot to talk about how we can build the outside wall. Okay, that's going to be pretty easy. So we will start this by going add, mesh, single vertex. There we are. And I am in edit mode, select the vertex, it's there. Then I press G to move it around, hold control and snap it to this point. E, hold control and click, E, hold control and click. Shift D, hold control and click. So I made a copy. E, hold control, click, E, control, click. Very good. Then we can select everything with A, E, and Z, hold control. There we are. Beautiful. Solidify modifier, 5 inches. There, no, 4 inches. That's actually the exterior wall, because an exterior wall altogether, meaning the interior wall and the outside siding, in this case, for example, here is 9 inches. Good. So this is all perfect. Okay, so we need to cut the opening for that window. How can we do this? Well, we simply add a Boolean modifier and then say, hey, you, now I need to know that object. There it is, window west. Thank you. Cool. So you see, actually pretty easy because this one cube was in place, cutting the opening for the interior wall. It does the same at the same position at the exterior wall. So no hand modeling. You can also understand or imagine, and I'm kind of like repeating myself, but this is really something that's important to keep in mind. If I move this one over, each wall is cut. This is like super helpful when you explore ideas. Okay. Let's undo the step. Now we have to do the same for the other part. So what I will do here is I will hide my windows. Then I go to this. I will turn this solidify modifier off for the moment. And then I will go into edit mode. There we are. AA, nothing is selected. Then I will go to the loop cut command and I have 1 cut, 2 cuts, 3 cuts, 4 cuts. So I can type in here 4, click, and there we are. Okay, then I can go to move, edge select, select this edge, move this, hold control and snap to this edge. This is actually where you see where the window is. Even when you don't necessarily see it, the software will be able to snap to it. Beautiful. Good. Now from here to here, we need to do a cut. So K for the knife, click. This is then the y-axis. Click and enter. This one here, X and dissolve. Okay. Here over to there, press Y. Click, enter, select this, X, and dissolve. I dissolved it, so I don't have this middle piece. Now this has to be snapped vertically. Hold control, there we are. And I use these two, hold control, there. The reason why I did the long cut was, as you see, I removed the middle part and I had the 2 pieces perfectly set. Okay, last step, click, click, X, sayonara, and there, actually, my babysitter told me that's not correctly pronounced. It would be sayonara. Very good. There, there, there. And we want to turn the Boolean modifier off. Oh, we're still in edit mode, and that's why we don't see it. There we are. Okay, perfect. Easy peasy. And now we are actually RD. Really done. I hope so, at least. Good night.